So a lot has happened since my last video. My old girlfriend at the time, we broke up. I got a new girlfriend, then she broke up with me on my birthday. So other than that, I got my license. I'm just on my way home from school right now, and I actually just found a wheelchair on the side of the curb that one of my neighbors thrown out. So, like the good person I am, I knocked on the door. I'm like, hey, can I take it?
So naturally, as any teenager would, I saw an opportunity to take a wheelchair, and I yoinked it right in the back of my car. So of course, now that I'm a responsible wheelchair owner, naturally I took it over to my friend's house so we can pop some wheelies.
You think I can drift this?
Oh my god! This is the best thing I've ever seen!
So while we were there, we decided to make a whole bunch of upgrades for the wheelchair.
So after talking to some friends about what upgrades we should put on it, I realized I need new friends, and then I came up with a list of everything I should do.
From these before shots, you could really see how dirty this thing was. Like, I literally just found it off the side of the road, so I wasn't expecting much. The tires had almost no tread on it, and even there's a few holes in it in a few spots. And also, this handlebar was looking a little janky, so we should probably fix that up too. I don't really know what to say to fill in this gap of me taking it apart, but the majority of you guys watching right now aren't subscribed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. I know that I took a break for over the summer, but I'm back now posting, so make sure y'all stay tuned.
Now that everything is taken apart, we can take all the pieces that have anything bad on it, like rust, and go sandblast them to take it all off.
And lucky for me, I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew another guy's dad who had a sandblaster, and he said it was cool if I used it. And also he had an air compressor, so I can take the handle off too. I also wanted to sandblast the frame itself, so that way it gets all rough so the paint would stick to it, but I soon realized that the frame wouldn't actually fit in the cabinet, so I decided to just paint it anyway. What could go wrong? However, before I can do any painting, good old Ohio weather decided to have a little bit of a snowstorm last night. Okay, so now that the weather is cleared up, I want to try to tape off this black section here, so that way we can go ahead and paint it. But before I could go out to start spray painting, I had to make sure I take special safety precautions, like covering my Walmart shorts to make sure they didn't get any paint on them. So I took the old bag of Halloween candy I had and dumped them out so I can make a nice pair of pants out of a trash bag. Okay, so I am no professional by any means. I just got this at Walmart, and it sounds easy enough. It's spray-on paint. Oh, that did not stick at all. So when I started to spray it, all of the paint really just dripped right off because of the smooth texture of the metal. So I tested it on this screw here, and the paint stuck much better. So there was the first time I did it. I took a little bit off, but it's usually pretty blotchy. Down here, this is where I didn't sand, but still painted. And right there's where I did sand. So that looks more smooth than that, but it's also raining. So it could just be the rain that's affecting it, but we're just gonna sand the whole thing just in case. So instead of sanding the whole thing just yet, I decided just to sand a little portion of it so I can do some crowdsourcing to see which one actually looked better to other people.
That one.
And so I spent the rest of the day sanding the entire thing down. Alrighty, and now that we have the entire thing sanded down, it's time to start painting it again. And then it started snowing again.
Alright, so now that we've sanded it, it's time to spray paint it again.
And then for my second coat, I wanted to do a nice layer of red to try to make it look like a fire flame thing. So I did some research to try to find a design, and then I started to draw it out on some painter's tape, and then I cut it out to stick it onto the wheelchair. And then began painting in red. Now that we got the painting done, it's time to move on to the wheels. So the first thing I had to do was take out all the old shredded rubber, which was difficult to say the least. Now that we have all the rubber out, I bought this huge pack of electrical tape on Amazon because I figured it would be close enough to a rubber replacement without spending $60 on actual tire replacements. I then began the painful process of carefully laying each layer of electrical tape in the crevice of the tire. It wasn't too long before I realized I needed a new process because this was going to take way too long. And I mean, I'm an engineer, I can figure out a new way. So I began looking around my room for new methods, and there, I found it, the treadmill. And then from there, efficiency was up to an all-time high. I got this done in no more than 2 hours.
So now that I've got the wheels all filled in with electrical tape, I can finally put the chair back together and put all the other attachments on. So next up for the attachments, I'm going to add on this little cup holder right here so that way I can carry around all of my canned beverages. So I began in Fusion 360 to make a 3D model of the cup holder so I can print one out on the 3D printers. And just like magic, we have a cup holder. Then I also designed and 3D printed this little holder back here, and then I bought this little door switch light from the dollar store, which actually gave me a lot more trouble than you think. Next up, I wanted to add some wheelie guards, that way I didn't fall over and crack my head open whenever I popped a wheelie, because when I was testing it, I kind of might have fell backwards on it. Perfect. So for AP Government at my school, we have to do this thing called civic engagement, which is basically where we have to attend some sort of school board meeting, city council meeting, and to write a reflection about it on how it relates to our class. It is just as boring as it sounds. Anyway, during that, instead of actually paying attention, I decided to just do some brain work on how I can make the footrest for this. And basically, here's what I got. So I found this 2x6 in my garage, and basically what my plan is I want to put this right here as well as have a support beam down under it. So basically I'm going to cut this in half and then cut one at an angle so that way it supports each other and we can screw it into two of these holes on the side right here. So just like any other builder, I took one measurement and went full send into building it. So I was originally thinking was to have one piece out here to put your feet on and another piece like this to support the first one. But now what I'm thinking is just to have this piece go up and down like this and secure that and then attach another piece perpendicular on here to the top. So basically what I have to do now is attach them perpendicular to each other, and I'm only 17 years old and I live in my parents' basement, so it's not like I have like a fancy vise or anything to do that kind of stuff, so I'm just gonna hot glue them together. You know, I'm only just now realizing how much of a bend this piece of wood has. Cool. So one day as I was coming home from school, I figured out that one of my neighbors are like moving or something because all of their carpet was sitting on the side of the road. So I went ahead and just snagged the cleanest roll that I can, which is why I'm wearing gloves. So now I have carpet, so I can make this thing carpeted. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with just cutting off a piece and then I'll try to nail it to this or something. I don't know. I haven't exactly thought about this. How do I cut carpet? Do I need like scissors or something? There we go. That's working. So this is basically really all I need, since I really only need to cover this top part here. So as for the rest of this, I'm just going to go ahead and give it away to one of you lucky viewers. All I have to do is subscribe, like, and make sure you comment down below, algebra is stupid, and I'll make sure I pick a random one of you to give this away. So now that we got it all glued down, we're just going to do some tidy up work around the edges and go ahead and attach it onto the chair. Alrighty, so now I have these attached in there, but I decided to leave this top one out. Just a last minute creative decision, so that way whenever you have your feet on it,
you can move this back and forth with your feet to really just adjust and your ankles and make them more comfortable. And definitely not because I misaligned them with the holes, so I didn't know how to take them out to fix it. So yeah.
Thank you all for watching. I'm back now on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe.